Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be covering the case of Mark Hobson, an alcoholic, a spree killer and a cannibal who did the unthinkable. This video is not for the faint-hearted, so with that said, let's get into it. Mark Hobson was born on September 2nd, 1969 in Wakefield, West Riding of Yorkshire, UK. By all accounts, his childhood was described as happy and stable, just a normal kid, so much so that one of his teachers at Brayton High School in Selby described him as very well behaved, so average and ordinary that he was almost anonymous. In 1991, at just 22 years old, Mark moved in with his childhood sweetheart and her two kids from a previous relationship. Then in 1993, the pair decided to tie the knot. That was after the birth of their daughter and Mark's first and only child. He was described as a perfect husband who worked at the Drax power station and also as a landscape gardener. Unsatisfied with his two jobs, in 1998 he became a bouncer for a local nightclub in Selby and also started to drink alcohol and abuse cannabis. Then a year later, in 1999, he walked out on his family without giving any reason or explanation. His wife described him in the last year as a zombie whose life went completely off the rails. Mark then met a woman named Claire Sanderson through a mutual friend, and soon after they started dating. Given that both of them suffered from alcohol addiction, they were a very bad influence on each other, passing their time drinking and fighting, even in front of other people while heavily intoxicated. Mark even gave Claire a chilling nickname, 8-Ball, which was a reference to the amount of bruises he inflicted upon her. Many of Claire's friends started to persuade her to leave Mark for her own good, but she always refused, saying that she loved him and that while sober, he was a good man. Claire was rather close with her twin sister named Diane, which is a pretty important name to this story. Let me explain. One night, while Mark was working, he began telling his co-worker that he didn't love Claire and instead wanted Diane to be his girlfriend. He had chosen the wrong twin. Then on July 10, 2004, as per usual, 35-year-old Mark and 27-year-old Claire were spotted drinking at a nearby pub. The pair was actually on a little break at the time, given that Mark just would not stop beating Claire. They decided to go to Mark's house, both heavily intoxicated of course. When they entered, Mark took advantage of the fact that Claire was standing with her back turned to him, so he grabbed a hammer and mercilessly beat Claire to the head a total of 17 times, before strangling her, wrapping her in beanbags and putting the body in a carpet, hiding it behind the sofa. Over the next week, Mark kept living with the body of Claire and would even talk to her occasionally, telling her that his next victim is gonna be her twin sister Diane. He put his plan to action on July 17th, a week after Claire's murder. He phoned Diane and told her that her sister had glandular fever and wished to see Diane. Diane of course didn't suspect a thing and went straight to Mark's house. As soon as she entered, she saw blood, but Mark was quick, striking her on the head, knocking her out unconscious. When she woke up, his twisted fantasy truly began. He tied her up, burned her pubic hair with a lighter, and began slicing her skin open. Before forcing himself upon her, he bit into her nipple, ripped it off, and ate it in front of her. When he decided that he was done and satisfied, he put a plastic bag over her head, strangling her. But then he had to act quick, because Diane's boyfriend Ian had just phoned Mark and asked him if he had seen Diane. Mark made up a story about how the twins' father had just passed away and that they were at their family's house to mourn. He then proceeded to invite Ian out in a pub on a quick drink. When they were done, Mark suggested that they continue drinking in his house, and Ian accepted. When they arrived, Ian noticed a foul smell, but Mark just said that he had problems with the drains and stuff. Intoxicated, Ian crashed at Mark's place, not knowing that in the other room lay the body of his dead girlfriend. The next day he went on to give condolences to the mother of the twins, but he was greeted by the supposedly dead father. He was in a total shock and quickly explained the situation to him. The two then went to Mark's house and found the bodies of the two twins laying on the floor. The police was called immediately and the manhunt for Mark Hobson began. He went on the run and broke into an empty house, grabbed some food and even stayed there for the night. When the police examined his house, they found a piece of paper with names written on it. The cops believed that these were his next-to-be victims. These included the twins' parents and even his wife. Being on the run, Mark stumbled upon a house owned by a frail, elderly couple in their 80s named James and Joan Britton. Unfortunately, this house wasn't empty. He broke inside, beat the couple to death and robbed them before heading over to a nearby petrol station to buy some drinks and cigarettes. But given that he was the most wanted man of all of Britain, his name was all over the news and the cashier recognized him and quickly contacted the police. They soon arrived and arrested Mark while he was hiding in a ditch. He confessed to the twins' murder but said that he had no recollection of ever breaking into the Britton home and killing them. He did plead guilty to all 4 counts of murder and was given life in prison where he belongs. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.